Hello, this is Gene. I want to talk about the new drama that's going on right now online about Shiloh Hendrix, her name is. Apparently, this woman was at a playground with her kid, small kid, and one of the younger other kids from a different background than her was rifling through her stuff. And she said the N word to him. And then uh, I guess the father or somebody that's from the same community, demographic background, had to video this and confronted her, and she used the word 3 or 4 more times. And of course, his last thing he said is, "Now the internet's going to find out about you." And of course, this is really blowing up a lot of shit online right now. A lot of what you consider conservative commentators, mostly women, are saying that we can't do this. This is not like what happened with Anthony when Anthony killed the white kid. We can't do this. It's a bad look. A lot of people that consider themselves conservative, and I don't really think it's a conservative or a liberal thing, and they're getting framed out because people are I guess at this point they're really fed up with everything. I don't know this woman. I don't know if she's a good person or not. People call she's white trash. She's got tattoos. She's thin. You have this look that she's a single mother. She has that look that means she might be on meth or some shit like that. Nobody knows, okay? But I think everybody's kind of just losing it online. And again, we're talking about less than 0.00000% of the population. And I said this under command Anthony's thing. If you want to give money to that, go ahead. I'm not going to stop anybody from doing that. And the same thing, if you want to give money to her, go right ahead. In this country, we just give away so much money. We go to casinos, or we get lottery tickets, or we have a coffee that's $12 every day. If you want to take your money to send it to people like that, that's on you. But of course, it's more to this now because people that are, I won't call them white nationalists, but people that are identitarians are saying that it's finally this the candle's back has been broken now, that it's woken up all these white people, and this is what's happening. I'm like, no, it hasn't. And not that I want them to wake up or anything like that. I think that all anybody really wants is just a seat at the table when we're talking about the future of this country. And I would think that black people, brown people, whatever, whatever terminology you want to say, would want to have the same thing. If you're American in this country, that there's issues and we need to fix them. But when somebody says it's just waking up the white man and it's going to lead to something more, okay, maybe I don't think it will, because you're still talking about when you look at, let's say 10,000 people have given to her. She's got almost $250,000 now. And you got to remember who actually runs these websites. They're taking their cut. And this guy was just on the TV a couple days ago saying he probably shouldn't have did what he did for Anthony, but he did it anyway. But he gets her cut. And it's the same people that run those type of things from that tribe that continually get their cut, and he's going to get his cut off of this as well. And he might be on a TV, and it probably will actually really go after this woman for saying the word, a word that just obviously just destroys people for hearing it. I grew up into it. I lived in the South St. Petersburg. It was predominantly black. They called each other the same thing. They called me it as well. Now I think when they talked to me, I had the A at the end, but they definitely called each other that name. And I know it's some sort of an empowerment thing. Okay, but again, we're talking about if it's 10,000 people, and I don't think it's that much. But let's say 10,000 people have given to this woman. We have 350 million people in this country. We can't sit there and say because 10,000 people gave money either side, the people that gave it to Anthony, the people that actually give it to Metcalf, the people that give it to her, are now indicative of what actually Americans actually believe. I think a lot of people are woken up in the last 5 years about we can't really trust our government with COVID and everything like that. And I've been talking about stuff like this for a while. I was talking about the alt-right identitarian movements because white people were losing the power that they had just based on the size of the demographic, and that we were getting sick and tired of people saying that we're this and racist or xenophobic or we hate people from other countries and that we're colonizers and all that stuff. That waking it up has happened a little bit. It's also been, as much as I don't really like Charlie Cook, he goes to the universities and he's pushed people more to the right side. And now even Charlie Cook is talking about the issues with white Americans. And again, the only person you can really thank for that is probably Nick Fuentes. And these guys don't have the balls to sit down and talk to this guy. And you can look at Nick. Sometimes you listen to him. He's like, he feels that he should be part of the right, that he should have a bigger placeholder there. I feel that he's still, he's, I don't know, he feels, he doesn't feel feels anywhere, he fits anywhere. But, he does what he does, and I don't agree with everything that he says, but he clearly has been a huge impact on the right, or on the idea that white people can actually say stuff about themselves, or say we're not going to listen to this anymore. You're going to call me racist because of this or that. People like me that I used to do stuff. I was very liberal. I did a lot of things, wanted to help in the black community. And you just can't go on Twitter and sit there and say that's how that actually represents all black Americans. And the same thing with white Americans. I clearly would not give any money to Anthony. I would clearly not give any money to this woman either. But just look at the scenario. There were kids involved, and of course they're using the autistic thing, that the kid was just autistic and he was just wanting to go things, and that it was not really his behavior, or that this is a problem in the black community that kids do this. But the adults right away got the phone out and started videoing her and saying, "You called this baby or kid the N-word." And they continually said this to him, and she just said, "You know what? You're that too." And, "Well, wait till I'm going to put it on the internet." Instead of just being an adult and say, "Hey, you shouldn't say that. I'll talk to the boy and he won't do it again. Don't say that word. It's just not the right thing to." And if she continually says it, fine. As a parent at that point, I don't want my kids around her. If all she can do is just use that word to dispel whatever, then you just don't do it. You don't put her online to get clout or clicks because you can't handle a very simple situation. You're the man in this position. She has nothing on her that could hurt you. So why are you doing that? Why are you putting her on video? You're just doing this to do this because you think at the end of the day, you're going to look like the good person. And then, of course, we know now that people know who this person was. Both of them. They doxed her and everything else. So she's in a position now, she gets death threats because even though it's a small minority, it's enough that can actually be worried about. It's like Nick had a woman come to his house. Then he had another man that was coming there to kill him, right? People will do stupid shit. So but the guy who was actually doing it, apparently he was at least charged of an offense of having inappropriate relationships with somebody under 16. So a lot of people are calling him a pedophile. Of course, it's not a pedophile, but you know what they're saying. But I think it got dismissed. But regard, you start going that way, people are going to find out about you as well. And the thing is, the problem we have here is that these both are adults, and neither one of them really solved the situation well. But at the same point, we've seen this happen a lot. And the white monolith that we are, the 58% of the population now, is going to do something about it. I don't see it. Luke Gage was on there talking today, another former Marine, not sure he's a white nationalist. I don't know what he is. He's really against Israel. But he's saying this is, the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I still think that most people don't give a shit about this. If a lot of people are on Twitter, but again, there is a cultural relevance of what's going on Twitter. But most people don't care about that. I have, in my community, I think we had 2 or 3 more people that came here, moved into these houses. There was something like 100 houses here. Most of them are black. It's getting to the point it's 50-50 here. We've had no issues. I think we had one time that somebody went into someone's houses or someone's cars and tried to take out money and stuff. I can't even verify that it's somebody from the neighborhood that did that. But we had that when we were in Florida. It happened to it twice. I can't tell you the demographics of those teams. I don't even think it was probably back in Florida. It was probably a white kid looking for money to get drugs and shit like that. And that's normally what they do. Normal, middle income families aren't like what we just see on that video. She clearly is a single mother. That's not a good thing. What is he doing? If he's just there, if that's his kid, I don't really know in that video if that's his, or he's just walking around in a playground and he has this background and he's from a part of the country, a part of the world that do shit with kids. I mean, I can understand her being worried about that. And again, if the people always talk about Americans that we're shitty, you know, we give so much money, so much foreign aid, more than anybody in the world, and this shit happens as well, and we continually give people money for this as well. And we just, like they gave to George Floyd, they got millions and millions of dollars for somebody who was clearly a criminal, who wasn't killed by the cop, who had all the other shit that was going on. He had COVID, he had a huge amount of fentanyl inside his system, and he died dealing with that because he just became so over the top that he just basically killed himself. But you saw what happened. Like, and again, why wouldn't if the white community was actually supposed to stand up, why would they really wake up then? And then you had COVID, and then is this really is the thing that's going to change and do whatever they do? I don't think it will. Um, yeah, you see it in England with this adolescence thing, and they're still talking about it in Parliament. They're going to do things about it when that's not the real problem in England, and people don't want to talk that conversation. And still, we got people from parts of the world that will never assimilate in the United States. And like I said, there was a time in this country that about 50 in the 50s, and people say you're going back to the 50s. All I have to say from the statistical point of view, a black family, intact black family with four people, five people, was very close financially to the white family. And then it all changed. And people say it's because the generational wealth for white people and all that stuff. No, what really happened is the welfare state came in and black women looked at big baddie government as the father in the house. And they've taken over the black community, and it's a matriarchal society there. And they're not good people when it comes to that. They need to be guided with every woman needs to be guided by a strong man. And the problem is they're not, and this is where the problem is. What the crime statistics were somewhat similar in the 50s and the 60s, really. It really was. But it's not like that anymore. So I don't think that there's something that's innate in black people to be violent. I don't. Because again, I live in this community. I have never been, I mean, I'm an old white dude, right? And when people, I'm sure some of these people do go on Twitter and see shit. I'm sure they probably say he's probably the problem, right? They never come up to me and like they're going to do anything. And, it's just, these are people that are good, honest people, regardless of the color of their skin. But I just want to talk about this because it's blowing up right now. And people are like, I can't believe it that we're giving this woman this type of stuff because she said the N-word. And then they kind of compare it. And this is what Riley Gaines did today. She's like, we can't do this because it's kind of like this. And she's getting flamed online. And then she came back and said, it's not really the same thing, but we should be doing this stuff. And I'm like, a guy brought up a really good point. This woman, conservative, didn't give a shit about trans stuff at all until it came in her space. And then she started complaining. And now she's made millions of dollars just grifting on this type of thing. So to me, it's no different. I don't respect her for any of this. She shouldn't have ever been have to see it. She shouldn't see a dude changing in her locker room with a full penis and all that shit. And but she almost all this Megyn Kelly, all these quote unquote conservative white women are really feminists in disguise, and they don't really care about anything until it actually goes into their shit. It's like Nancy Mace. her biggest thing is that she was the first female to go to Citadel. So she went into male spaces and entrost in male spaces, and she thinks that's something that's good. But if a man comes up and talks to her in a constituent in a store and says, "Hey, when are you gonna have your next town meeting?" and she just freaks out, she says she's being harassed, and this is the same shit with women. You know, there's a lot of other things I could talk about, the vote and all that stuff. That of course white men gave them the vote. Then they sit there and say that when it comes down to it, it's our fault for all of it. And you look at who allows all the migration in the world. It's white liberal women that vote this shit in, and they come here and give me a HUD and all that shit. And then the grooming gangs come and all that. It's like, oh, it's not real. It's not real. But we're going to talk about this one kid in a fictional series on TV, and we're going to say that's the real problem because Andrew Tate talks about making yourself better as a man, whatever way you want to say about that. That's the real problem, not migrants who come in who don't care about the native population. Anyway, that's basically I don't this idea that's going to wake up the white man and we're going to have some sort of civil war because of this. It's just going to be another thing that she's going to get out of the news cycles. I mean, somebody said she's going to be like that hot tour girl and she's going to have her own podcast and all this shit. Who knows? Again, this is the United States. When people talk about this country sucks, you can clearly make money here. I don't know if that's good or bad, but good Lord, if we're going to give this woman $500,000, it's right, it's $250,000 now. We're just stupid enough to give her money to them. Again, 10,000 people at most out of 150 or 350 million. And I'm sure she's got people from outside the United States that give her money. You're still talking about, I don't even know what that is, less than 0.00000003. It's just not, it's like a gnat. It's just not this idea that's going to, yeah, okay. People that get online and says, yes, we've waken up. This is it. It's over. Okay. What does that actually mean, though? What does that mean? As an American, I just said I am pro family. I want everybody to have a table, American citizens at the table to talk about it. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of things we can compromise. Most black people don't want illegal immigration. Most Hispanic people don't want illegal immigration. Most Asians don't want illegal immigration. But again, in all Western countries, the vast majority of the country has voted against this, and still the politicians allow it to happen. The same thing that we're seeing now with the judges that are stopping Trump and his agencies to get rid of the illegals. And it's like, what, you didn't give a shit when Obama got rid of 2 or 3 million, but now that Trump's, it's like, and it's the same fucking people behind it, the same people that runs these fundraising stuff, the same fucking people. And the thing is, they're worried about is if we all get together and realize what the issue is, then that's why they're all upset. And that's why they did like at Harvard, and they fired all these people. And the anti-Semitic shit on campuses, and everybody was apparently okay with that because of why. And I talked about this 10 years ago when DeSantis was going to go to Israel to sign his bill saying you can't say this. And it's like, that's once we lose the ability to have the ability to talk, whatever she said, it could be abhorrent, but that's her free speech. And I guess there is consequences to it if she could get fired at her job and all that stuff. But again, the same thing as somebody that's pro-Palestine who happens to be a student at school, as long as they don't do anything that's violence to the people there, they might say they hate Israel, but they should be allowed to say it. Once we lose the ability to have free speech in this country, it's done. It's already gone in Europe, okay? But if we do it here, it's done, and it's already kind of done, right? Because they're already making, you can't do shit like this. And what we actually have to understand now is this is not going to waking up the white man. We all understand what really is actually changing or actually controlling us. It's the same people that's been there for a while. We need to do something about that. And maybe I'll talk about that in another video. But Let me know what you think in the comments. It's an interesting thing. I don't think anything's really going to change for a bit, but we'll see. We'll talk about it. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you later.